I survived 300 days in hardcore Minecraft. Yes, that's right guys, I did it. I survived yet another 100 days in this beautiful world, and I'm so excited to share with you guys what I've completed. Now before we jump into it, I want you guys to know of some challenges I have for these next 100 days. Firstly, I would like to build a nether hub. Somewhere that my portal will lead me that looks very appealing to the eye. Secondly, I would like a full max beacon of diamonds, emerald, gold, and iron. This would be the ultimate challenge. I would need to kill 4 withers and get a ton of materials. And of course, the most important task of all is to rescue Tiki, my lost horse. But without further ado guys, let's get straight into the 300 days. Day 201. My journey to 300 days started off with one thing on my mind. My horse Tiki. If you guys don't know who Tiki is, I recommend you go watch the first 100 days video. I left Tiki miles away on a lonely island and completely forgot about him. And the amount of comments I got about Tiki were insane. You guys are very concerned. So I knew this had to be the first thing on my list for these next 100 days. I flew across the ocean with my elytra. This used up way too many of my rockets. And then I arrived and was so happy to see Tiki. I safely took him home and put him in a nice little pen with Fruit Loop. Then I spent the rest of the day farming for emeralds. If I wanted to get a full beacon, I would need a lot of these. The next day I looked around my land. I wanted to build a farmhouse with a market area so I could trade crops with a ton of farmer villagers. I really needed a nicer place for the villagers to work, so that's what this build was going to be for. I was about to get started on building when I noticed my shovel was nowhere to be seen. I had no idea what I'd done with it, so I needed to make a new one. I figured now would also be a good time to upgrade the rest of my tools to netherite, as I did have some leftover ancient debris. I ended up getting an efficiency 4 Unbreaking 3 shovel, pretty good. Day 203 consisted of grabbing materials and terraforming. My new shovel was super fast. When I started to build the shops, I noticed a zombie villager. I decided to cure him so that I would be able to have discounted prices with trades. I ran back to Storage Mountain and got a weakness potion and a gapple to heal him. Then while he was healing, I continued building. I moved the villager into a shop and I continued building and shearing sheep. Day 205, I transported some villagers over and then constructed a path. I know the torches look super ugly, but this is hardcore Minecraft after all, and I need light on every block. I spent some time terraforming my land, of course, and cutting trees. Then I farmed throughout the night. I was pretty excited to finally use my netherite hoe. I also added in some light in the middle of the farm because it was super dark and zombies were actually spawning. I spent today fishing. I needed some name tags, of course to name Tiki, and to make an iron farm. I needed to put a name tag on a zombie so it wouldn't despawn. After the entire day of fishing, I was able to get one name tag, and I would fish again later to get the other. Day 207 was spent organizing chests and my shulkers, and figuring out what materials I had and what I needed. I was preparing to start a brand new farm, and wanted to make sure that I had all of the materials that were necessary. I was also running low on food, so I put a bunch of cod I fished up in my super smelter. One of the necessary items I need for this farm is hoppers, which means I need iron, and I kind of ran out of iron, so I needed to go mining. I also really needed coal. I wish I had a fortune pickaxe. I will really have to get one soon. I spent all day mining, focusing mainly on iron and coal. I figured if I found any diamonds, I would silk touch them and wait for fortune, but sadly I didn't get any. Then I found a spider spawner and I took a screenshot of the cords for later. On day 209, I came back up from the mines and I organized all of the stone and random things that I got. I also threw a bunch of things in the smelter and got prepared to build this farm. I didn't really want to start the build at night, so I spent tonight just farming for emeralds, of course. Soon, I would need a better pumpkin and melon farm, maybe something automatic. And on day 210, I started building the iron farm. This farm is very simple and I actually completed it in just one day. All I needed was a zombie and some villagers. I was able to get the zombie very easily. I just needed a name tag so he wouldn't die. So I named him Marcel. There was still one thing missing from this farm: villagers. So day 211 was spent doing one of my favorite tasks in Minecraft, moving villagers. After this grueling task was finished, my farm was complete. Today I was finally starting to see some iron in my chests. This was great news because soon I would be crafting a full beacon. I actually spent a bit of time AFKing the farm today. Now don't worry, I really don't AFK any other time in this series. By day 214, I had accumulated quite a few stacks of iron. I spent the rest of the day farming emeralds, of course, with my villagers. A stack of logs can get you quite a lot from Fletcher's. Diamonds are one of the only materials that I can't make a farm for, so if I was going to create a full-powered beacon, I would need a lot of these. I got myself a fortune pickaxe, sadly not netherite, and headed into the mines for a while. I was mining until day 218, and then I headed back to my compound. Honestly, I don't know what I did on day 219. I pretty much just smelted some things and ran around like an idiot. If you guys know me, then you know that bees are my favorite Minecraft mob, and I didn't have any in this world. So I wanted to make a little bee sanctuary. I went to the nearby flower forest to grab a hive with a bee, of course, and then put together a small enclosure with a really cool tree as a centerpiece. Then I found another zombie villager. I decided healing him would be a great idea, so I ran to my potion house to get a weakness pot and grabbed a golden apple and trapped him in a ditch to be healed. When it was morning, he was fully converted. I started trading with him immediately. I needed gold, and I realized I had a gold grinder, so I headed into the nether to my gold farm to grab some. It was about time I make a hopper collection unit, so I did that as well. I grinded gold for quite a while before heading back to my base. And when I left, I had just under a stack of golden blocks. On day 125, I went to my smelter and picked up all of the iron and gold that I had thrown in there the other day, and I started building a melon and pumpkin auto farm. None of these farms are my designs. I am not that talented, so I'm going to leave links to all of the designs down below in the description if you guys want to check them out. I'm pretty bad at redstone, so they're very simple farms. Right as I was finishing the collection system, a creeper blew it up and I had to fix it. I noticed that overnight my Fletcher villagers were turned into zombies, so I cured them and finished up the auto pumpkin and melon farm. On day 229, I did a bunch of organizing in my storage room. I needed to empty out all of the shulkers that I had to build the farm. And then I took a trip to the sugarcane farm to craft some rockets. I go through these things way too fast. Today, I needed an adventure, so I left with some supplies. I wanted to find and defeat a woodland mansion. So I flew around until I found one. I know there's probably easier ways to find these, but I just kind of flew around until I ran into one. And by day 231, I made it to a mansion. I had no idea if this was going to be challenging or not. I had never completed one of these. Luckily, I had full netherite, strength potions, and some golden apples. I changed my elytra out from my chestplate and headed in. The pillagers in here do a lot of damage. And this mansion is ginormous. I mean, it is called a mansion. Sadly, the loot wasn't anything too great. I was hoping for some better items. But nonetheless, I completed the entire mansion, clearing out each room of enemies. I returned home on day 233, and for the rest of the day, I got materials ready for a new build. I crafted rockets because I had already ran out, and then I bone mealed my pumpkins and melons so that they would grow faster. And to end off the day, I did a bit of trading with my villagers. I started building a mountain house because why not? I really love building cabins. For this build, I tried to make it look rustic and like I only used the materials that were at my disposal, like spruce wood and cobblestone. I used a load of trapdoors for this build because I am obsessed with spruce trapdoors. Well, I guess I used a lot of spruce in general for this build. One thing I didn't realize that I really needed were wither skeleton skulls. If I was going to have several max beacons, I needed them. So today I headed into the nether to farm some. I tried a few tactics like going to a few different fortresses, and I also cleared out the walls so that there was more spawning room. This took longer than I expected, pretty much 15 or 16 days of killing withers. After this painful endeavor, I finally had 7 skulls on day 255. I wasted no time at all on day 256, and I got some supplies together and flew far away from my compound. Then I dug down and spawned in both withers at the same time. I must have been a straight lunatic for doing this. And yes, this was very challenging. I don't know how I didn't die here. I really don't. This was probably the most risky thing that I had done yet. I noticed that with all of the bow shots I was landing, the withers were healing. I did not know that this was even possible. So I charged them with my sword, and luckily I was able to kill them both somehow. I still don't know how I did this. To celebrate my accomplishment, I decided to do some more relaxing tasks. The next few days were spent mining and cutting down some trees. I actually didn't find any diamonds while I was mining. I did, however, get some gold and iron, and now I had more materials for building. On day 263, I started my morning off with putting some things in my smelter, and then I checked on all of my different farms. The iron farm had gotten quite a bit of iron in it by now. I also checked on my sugarcane farm and crafted some more rockets. I got some melons and pumpkins and traded with my villagers. Then I noticed that my Fletchers had become zombies again. I panicked and quickly healed them. It was time for my next big project, a nether hub. Today was full of just clearing a large area. I tried bringing my beacon into the nether for haste, but for some reason it didn't work. I quickly discovered that the area I was building this hub in was very dangerous. So many wither skeletons and other mobs spawned in here. With my pickaxe basically broken, I needed to repair it, so I ran over to my XP farm and grinded levels. With my pickaxe looking brand new, I spent all day getting blackstone for the nether hub. Blackstone is such an awesome block, and I was really excited to build with it. I really messed up here. On day 269, I returned to my base and realized I had forgotten the shulker full of blackstone that I harvested. I ran back to the nether in search of it, and I did not find it. I literally spent all day looking. I was pretty bummed. To recover from losing a ton of blackstone, I spent today getting more. Finally, I could start constructing. I wanted to do a circular shape for this hub, as you can probably tell by the outline. I also wanted to have a few different directions leading to different parts of the nether. I decided to go with a polished blackstone floor, and I decided to use slabs so that mobs wouldn't spawn in here. I also wanted to add wood somewhere in this build, so I ended up using some dark oak detailing. Guys, let me know down below in the comments what you think of the blue nether wood. When you strip these logs, they look incredible. But by far the most expensive part of this build were these nether wart blocks. They take so long to break and are rather hard to find. I think that's what took the most time on this build. I want to add more details to it later on, but I'm really happy with how it's looking. On day 280, I headed back to the overworld to do some farming. I was getting closer and closer to 300 days, and I needed to have these full beacons. I also crafted the actual beacons today. Day 281 was a kind of crazy day. All I really did was fill in some holes around my land. I spent some time at my XP farm and crafted the gold into blocks from the grinding session. Then I decided to head home, but as I was jumping off the edge, I forgot to put my elytra back on. This was way too close of a call. I could have lost this world forever. I headed home and started to set up my full beacons. I realized that I most likely wouldn't be able to make a full diamond and gold one by 300 days, but I definitely could do emeralds and iron. I actually had enough iron blocks to complete my first full beacon, and I spent the next few days farming emeralds to get the beacon to full power. I didn't need too many more. After grinding for a little while, I had 25 blocks of emeralds. I thought this might be enough, so I started placing them. I needed 4 more blocks, so I did some last bits of farming. My auto farm was making quite a bit of melons and pumpkins, which was great. After some farming, I was able to complete my second full power beacon. I put speed on this one. Today, Tiki and I ran all over my compound, just taking it in. The work we've done on this world is incredible. We decided to take a trip up to my mountain house, and Tiki seemed to really like it, so I thought this would be the perfect place to build some nice stables for him and Fruit Loop. I started terraforming some land for the stables and building a central area. And on day 286, I started building the actual enclosure. I wanted Tiki to have plenty of room to roam. After all, I did leave him in a box for 200 days. I decorated it and did my best to light it up. I didn't want mobs spawning in here. I also added a path and spent the evening building lanterns all over the mountain I was on. Once the stables were done, I ran home to get Fruit Loop. I put him in his new home and then grabbed Tiki. This was such a luxurious home for them, and it was a serious upgrade from where they were living before. Day 288, I decided to take Green Bean on a boating adventure. We were followed by a dolphin, and then we found a water temple. I have no clue what these are actually called. I need to do a bit of research on what these are, so this would be a challenge for 400 days. Speaking of which, if you guys are enjoying this video, please be sure to leave a like on it and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. And let me know down below in the comment section if you would like to see 400 days. It started getting dark, so Green Bean and I decided to spend the night in a cave. On day 289, we finally made it back home. The rest of the day was just spent organizing my inventory and shulkers. If you guys have been a long-time subscriber, you know that I love pixel art. And I wanted to build one in this world, so I sheared my sheep for a new build. I also had to get ink sacs from squids so that I could dye my sheep black. I needed a good amount of black wool. I decided to take my best shot at building a hardcore Minecraft heart. I used netherwort blocks to detail it and red and black wool. I think I did a pretty okay job. Let me know what you guys think. I kind of wanted to go to the end today, so Tiki and I headed off on an adventure. We were running for a while, and then as night came, we ran into a village, so we spent the night there. Once it was morning, I stole some apples from the villagers and fed them to Tiki. Then we continued on our way to the end portal. I made it to the portal and jumped straight in. Then I decided to just start exploring. I flew around with my elytra, and I had plenty of rockets to do so. I felt like I hadn't really been around the end that much since I killed the Ender Dragon, so it was kind of cool just to take everything in. I was looking for end cities or ships to get another elytra. That's the main thing that I wanted from this trip. After flying for what seemed like an eternity, I finally found an end city and got some insane loot. Sadly, there was no end ship, but that's okay. Chests were filled with high-tier enchants, armor, diamonds, emerald, and so much more. I also killed a ton of shulkers, and with looting 3, it adds up quickly. After looting the end city, I continued flying. Then I found an end gateway, and before entering, I decided it would be a good idea to fix my elytra, because I was terrified of it breaking mid-air. So I killed some endermen to get XP to mend it. Then I threw an ender pearl through the portal. I ended up at the end spawn. Perfect. Now I could head through and get back to Tiki. No, it wasn't going to be that easy. It took me to the village I had slept at a few nights back, so I had to run back to the portal to pick up Tiki. I wasn't going to leave him behind again. Eventually, I made it to him and we headed home. I cannot believe that I had survived 300 days in hardcore Minecraft. I seriously didn't think I was capable of doing such a challenge. The entire day was pretty much just spent running home. We were kind of lost. You'll have to watch 400 days to see if we make it home or not. I'm kind of worried. And that, my friends, is how I completed 300 days of hardcore Minecraft. I really hope that you guys did enjoy this video and this series as a whole, as these videos take a really long time to make. I've been working super hard on the channel recently, and it's so amazing to see all of the great feedback I've gotten from you guys. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for 20,000 subscribers. Make sure to join my Discord to get early access to 400 days and other upcoming videos. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you soon. Peace.